everyone. What a blessed morning for you all. What a blessed day to you all. Okay, so right now what I am going to explain to you all is that it's regarding our multi-form comprehensive, the Java frame, and also for our loading screen, the Java frame. Okay, okay, so that's the topic we are going to discuss right now. Okay, so as you can see here on our line 1 to line 24, actually there are so many imports here. So if we maximize this, there are so many imports here from line 1 to line 24. Okay, so we borrowed so many tools to so that our GUI or our graphical interface could become usable, could become functional. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so let's minimize this now. So we are going to proceed with our line 26, which is public class multi-form comprehensive extends frame. Okay, so the only bottom line here is this: we initiate a class in a JFrame, a main class. Okay, so this is our main class or our main frame. Okay, and our whole bunch of codes later on. Okay, so that's it. So for line 29, as we can see, we have private static final serial version UID is equals to 1L. Actually, this is a predefined variable. Alright, this was already originated from the Java. Okay, so we did not touch this, we did not add on this line. Okay, so for line 30, as we have private jpanel content pane. So as you can see here, private is it's kind of access, giving an access. It's either public or private. So if it's public, then this specific frame or another frame or another class can borrow the operational function of that specific class. Okay, so as we can see here, we have private access jpanel. So this is the Java, this is the Java swing we used. Okay, jpanel content pane. Actually, content pane is this is actually a content panel. Okay, so this is where we put all our graphical interface so that it would be visible on our naked eye. So that's it. Okay, so the variable name of our jpanel is a content panel. Okay, the variable name of it is content pane. We initiate it as, or we named our jpanel as content pane. Okay, so let's proceed to the other line, number 32. Okay, so another private. So the difference here is it is a jbutton. Yes, jbutton is a functional button. Okay, so actually there's a difference when it comes to jbutton and jtoggle button, because if we use jbutton, when you click that jbutton, it will automatically proceed with its function once. But with jtoggle button, when you press it, it will continuously functions as it is unless you turned it off. Okay, so that's it. So as for this jbutton, for this specific jbutton on line 32, we named this jbutton as BTN or button register. Okay, so that's it. And another one for line 33, private jbutton button cancel. So it has almost the same functions, but the only difference is this button is for register and this button is for canceling. Okay, so that's it. We name this specific button for line 33 as button cancel or BDN cancel. Okay, so let's proceed with the line 35 to 37. As we can see here, we have public static J button, button pay. So if we if we uh, use public static, it means that we are allowing the usage of this specific variable on the other frames. Okay, so you are giving a permission or an access that it can be used on another frames like this. This is frame 1, our main frame, and this is another frame, a loading screen, the Java frame. Okay, so don't be confused. So as we can see here, public static J button, so it's another J button, but the access is more broad, more open to the other frames. Okay, so J button, we named it as button pay, button delete, and button view log. Okay, so as we actually will name them aligning with their specific functions. Button pay, so yes, it's to pay. It is a button responsible for the function of paying the specific rows or tables or cells. No, it's a rows, specific rows of records that we wanted to pay. Okay, button delete for deleting, button view log for viewing the log, of course. And let's proceed with the number line 39. Public static, so it's another public access. We are giving another public access to the other frames. Public static JTable. So this is the Java swing we used. JTable. A this is a kind of table. Yes, it's almost has like the same with Excel. If you are using Microsoft Excel, it's like that. It's like it's a table is composed of columns and rows, and within it are cells. Okay, so that's it. We named it as TBL transaction details. Okay, TBL transaction details. So let's go to the number line 40. Number 40 line. Public static, as we already know. Okay, I've already discussed this. Default table model. Okay, so actually we use this so that it will have its specific functions later on. Okay, and we named it as model. As simple as that. We name this table. We name this table. It's like a container of data as model. Okay, so for number line 41, we have private access, private JLabel. For JLabel, it's another Java Swing functions or Java Swing graphical interface wherein it can possibly display text or icons. Okay, text or icons or images. It's how the user use this JLabel. Okay, it's up to the user. Okay, or it's up to the programmer or coder on how he use the JLabel. It's either just to provide or just to input a text or to display a text or to display an image or an icon, or it's either or both text or image. Okay, so that's it. We name this JLabel as label details. So actually we already put a name on specific functions regarding their connections on our programs or on our applications, the function of this specific Java Swing on our application. Okay, so let's go to the line 42, private J scroll pane details. Okay, so it's like J scroll pane is like scroll bar. If actually J scroll pane is like our container. Okay, it acts as our container so that we can scroll up and down, left to right if the datas are longer. Okay, if the data needs more wider space like that, so that we can scroll up and down or left to right, so that we can check the full details of a specific data. Okay, so don't be confused, that's the only functions of this specific line, which is line number 42. Okay, next is for line number 43, private boolean. Okay, so data type boolean has only two outcomes. It's either true or false. Okay, true or false for boolean data type. Okay, we name this data type as has rows variable. Okay, so it has a specific functions within our codes, so I don't think I can tackle that, but I have my colleagues or co-members who will tackle that specific functions or purpose on this code. Okay, next is for the line number 45, public static double total fee. Okay, so another public static access, and for data type it's double. Okay, so this is not an integer double, so it has decimal point. Okay, we named this data type as total fee. Okay, so this total fee has an integer plus decimal point. Okay, whole number and decimal point. Okay, so the purpose of this is total fee for transactions, as we can see here on the comments. Okay, so let's proceed with the number 47. So we have private access for 47 to 50. Also, they are all the same JLabel, Java Swing JLabel. So we name them according to their purpose or to their functions or what we needed them to do. Okay, so we name as label design image top, label design image bottom, label design image thin, label design image thin one. Okay, okay, so this have specific usage or purpose on our running of program. Okay, so next we have public static access, then data type, which is int, short of integer. So this is a whole number, so this does not necessary to have or mandatory to have a decimal point. This only allows a whole number. Okay, so we named this data type as id no counter is equals to 1. So we initiate that the value of this integer is equals to 1. Okay, so it's not 0, it's 1. Okay, so another here is private static. So this only the difference here is it has an access of private static. So this JLabel can only be accessed within this class. Okay, so we named this Java Swing as JLabel as label record counter. Okay, so let's proceed with the number 55, public static J menu item layout. So this MNTM is it's just a shortage usage of menu item. Okay, so don't be confused. That's the only use of that. Public static access JMenu item, which is a Java Swing built-in GUI interface. Okay, so before we can put a JMenu item, we needed a JMenu bar with JMenu on it. Okay, we name this Java Swing as menu item logout. Okay, menu item logout, MNTM logout. Okay, so let's proceed with this line number 60. So as we can see here, we have public static void main string args. Actually, this as a mandatory code when initiating a running of program. Okay, so that's the only usage of this line of codes. Okay, so let's proceed with the line number 62, which is the loading screen. Loading screen new is equals to new loading screen. So actually we just where does this loading screen comes from? Actually we initiate the borrowing of the specific JFrame. Okay, so we we use this JFrame as loading screen. Here, as you can see here, loading screen. We name this variable as loading screen again. Is equals to new loading screen. So actually this is the instantiation of a specific program. Okay, so this is the its format. Okay, this is the average format when instantiating or the instantiation of a specific Java Swing. Okay, so as we can see here, loading screen that's set visible to true. So the bottom line of this is before going or proceeding with to our main window or to our main frame, we needed first to we needed this loading screen to appear first. Okay, so that's why we set its visibility to true. Okay, so before we start accessing our application, there will be a loading screen who will pop up first, a loading screen window who will pop up first. Okay, so let's so right now let's going to proceed with the loading screen, the Java JFrame. Okay, so that I can so that you can understand more in regards to what we are talking about. Okay, so don't be confused. We are going to proceed to loading screen the Java JFrame right now. Okay. So as you can see here from from the loading screen, the Java JFrame from line 1 to line 9, we use we imported a specific helps or functions and automatic functions that we can already use. Okay, so that there will be no further problems when regards to accessing some functions or operational functions. Okay, so that's it. So let's proceed with number 11 line, public class loading screen. Loading screens extends JFrame. Okay, so as we can see here, we use public. Okay, so it can be used on the other frames if necessary. Okay, we name this JFrame as loading screen. Okay. So that's why loading screen. Okay, so loading screen, we borrowed this specific JFrame so that our main frame would become functional. Okay, so you can see here private static final, and again this is an inbuilt code, so we did not needed to touch this. Another private JPanel content pane or content panel. For line number 15, public static JProgress progress bar. Okay, so this one. Okay, so we declared them. We declared this specific line of code as public static. So it has an access, a public access to the other frames. Okay. So this is a Java Swing JProgress bar. We named it as progress bar. Okay, so that's it. Progress bar. As you all know, progress bar it's like a loading screen. Yes, right. Do you all know that from normally it comes from 0 to 100. It's a horizontal line normally, and it started from left to right. Okay, it's loading screen. That's the progress bar. Okay, so public on number line 17, public loading screen. So this is what I am explaining to you. Loading screen. So we name this class as loading screen. Okay, set undecorated to true. Okay, okay, so for this for the function of this set undecorated to true is we are eliminating the functions of this minimize, this hide, and this exit or close or X when button. Okay, we are eliminating those. So if we set it into true, then there will be no X, there will be no minimize, and there will be no hide buttons. Okay, so that's it. Set default close operation frame gframe exit and close. Okay, so this is just the operations of these buttons. Okay, so if we X this, then it will automatically close the window. That's it. So set bounds. So this is for the X axis, Y axis, the width and the height of our window. Okay, so let's proceed with the other line, which is number 21. Content pane, content panel is equals to new J panel. Actually, this is a J panel. We named it as a content panel. Okay, we named this Java Swing as content panel, content pane, to be specific, to be exact. So on number line 22, content pane that set border new empty border. Okay, so let's just ignore this because actually we already set this set location relative to null, so that it will if we open this, it will pop up on the center or on the middle of our screen. Okay, regardless of what you are using, if either you are using a desktop computer or a laptop. Okay, due to this location relative to null, it will appear or it will pop up on the middle of your screen. Okay, so that's it. Set content pane, content pane. Okay, so we are just declaring that we are our content panel is our content panel. So content pane, that's set layout null. Okay, so let's proceed with the number 27 line. So as we can see here, we can see a JLabel. It's a Java Swing program, okay, or in a built-in program or interface. We name this as label loading text. Is equals to new JLabel. Actually, this is just an instantiation. Okay, we named no, we put a sentence or a word loading. Yes, because it's a progress bar. Actually, it's above the progress bar. Imagine a progress bar from 0 to 100 and a loading screen text. Loading, saying loading, then dots. Okay, so that's the idea. So label set foreground. So just so for this line 28, loading label loading text set foreground. So we just declared its specific locations, colors, like that. So the background colors. Okay. Label loading text set font. So this we another one we declare a font, specific font for this text or label. Okay, label set horizontal alignment center. Okay, so another one we set its alignment horizontal through in horizontal by center. Okay, set bounds. So the axis and the size of the window content pane. Okay, so on our content panel, so this is where we put our GUI interface. We add the label loading text. Of course we cannot see this if we did not if we didn't add it on the content panel. It's like you declared it but not you are not using it. Okay, so if we use a content pane that add then our specific variable, then we are declaring that we added it into the content panel. Okay, because it has a purpose. Okay, so let's proceed with the progress bar. 35 progress bar is equals to new progress bar. Okay, so actually this is built in functions or operational Java Swing functions on Eclipse. So we name this as progress bar. It's obvious progress bar from 0 to 100. So that's that. We also from line 36 we set its foreground or its background to this specific color, and then another one, these variables we set its bounds or its x and y axis and width and height of the window, a specific value. Okay, so for line number 38, of course we needed to add the progress bar into our content panel so that it will be usable or it will be visible to our window or to our applications, right? So let's go to our number 41, which is image icon loading screen. No, loading icon is equals to new image icon. This get class get resource loading GIF. Okay, so for this one, actually image icon. Okay, as for this one, okay. So we okay, so for line number 41, we this image icon is like we are instantiating um, a a specific Java Swing so that we can use it further. Okay, so we name this function as loading icon is equals to new image icon. Okay, so for this one, actually, the only thing we can um, pinpoint on this one is a loading GIF. It's when you say GIF, it's a moving picture. Okay, it's like a picture, continuous moving picture. So we borrow this on our images folder. Okay, as you can see here, we have this loading GIF. So this is where it comes from. Okay, so we borrowed on this folder into our loading screen JFrame. Okay, so don't be confused. Next, for line number 44, label loading image new label. No new label is equals to none. Label loading image set icon loading icon. Okay, set the icon of the label loading image set bounds, so another bounds x y axis and width and height. Of course we needed to add this label loading image, of course, so that it will be visible on our main content or our content panel. Set location relative to null, as we can see here in the comment center to the screen. So if ever we run this program, it will appear in the middle of our screen regardless of what we are using, either desktop or laptop. Okay, so let's now go back to our main window or main frame, which is multi-form comprehensive Java. Okay, so integer, it's integer data type. We named it as loading counter. And also we initialize the value. Okay, so we initialize the value into 0. Okay, 0 is an integer, it's a whole number. Okay, so try. So on this line number 66, try break for hunting exceptions. While actually this is a loop for while loop. Okay, so we are proceeding with a loop here. Okay, so our loading counter, which is as you can see here on the line number 65, we we initiated it as 0 is less than or equal to 0 or equal to 100, less than or equal to 100. Keep looping while loading is less than or equal to 100. Okay, so it will continuously progress if the loading counter is 0, is less than or greater than 100. So let's proceed with this line 68, loading screen. So loading screen, as we can see here, we borrowed an access on our loading screen JFrame. To be specific, we borrowed the progress bar. Okay, the val also as we can see here, it's only for specific progress bar, and we set its value to loading counter. Okay, so loading counter thread sleep 50. Okay, actually this 50 is like at the speed of the loop. Okay, the speed of 0 to 1, 0 to 100. Okay, so that's it. So we initiated as this integer, we initiated it as 0, and we use a while loop so that it will continuously goes up 0 1 2 3 and up to 100, because it says here that the condition is less than or equal to 0, equal to 100. Okay, so we are setting the value of our progress bar, the value of this one, if it's if it's less than or equal to 100. So it will goes up from 0 to 100 with a speed of 50. I think this is 450. This is the millisecond. Okay, millisecond. So let's proceed with this one. If statement, so it's a conditional statement. Loading screen is equals to 100. So this is what's going to happen if it's equals to 100. Event queue invoke later new runnable public void. So as just to explain to you, or just to inform you, we did not um we we did not um touch this. We did not edit this one because it's a built-in program already. Okay, so we don't needed to edit this one. Okay, so try login frame. Okay, so for this login frame, actually we have this login entry. Yes, we borrowed the access of this one. Let's just open it. Okay, so we borrowed. After a loading screen, a login entry will appear. Okay, after a successful 0 to 100 loading progress, a loading screen or no, a login screen or login window will pop up or will appear. Okay, so that the user can put the username and password, a specific username and password, for in order for him or her to access our main window or our main frame or our main application. Okay, that's it. Loading counter plus plus. So we are incrementing this specific variable. Okay, so it's like it's a continuous it's a continuous loop. If the loading screen and no loading counter is is less than or equal to 100, it will continuously goes up because we have an increment functions on this one. Okay, so catch, interrupt, exception, e, print, struct, trace. So let's proceed with this number line 95, public, multiform, comprehensive. So this is the main functions of our main window. Okay, so this is, so from actually from 60 to 90, its functions is only to, it's like a preparation for opening the main window. It's like preparation, a loading, after a loading screen, a login entry is needed so that you get, so that the user can use the tools or operational tools that um, a feature operational tools that they can use on our main window. Okay, that's it. Multi-form comprehensive, as we can see here, multi-form comprehensive is Java. Okay, set extended state. So we initiated a set extended state. It's like this is for the JFrame. Okay, JFrame. So when we are talking to JFrame, it's like the window. So this is a JFrame. This is the content. Okay, so this JFrame, it has a hide, minimize, this one, and the X partner. Okay, so we initiate that it must have to be maximized, both its width and its height. Okay, so that it can cover all the screen, whether you are using desktop or laptop. Okay, so that's it. Set default close operation, JFrame exit on close. So okay, so for this one, this is specific for X button. If we click this button, it will automatically close or exit. Okay, for line number 99, set bounds 100, 100, 90, 20, 10, 80. Okay, so for this one, we set already defined its bounds. It's x-axis, y-axis. It has a fixed x and y-axis, and its width and height. Okay, so for this one, we only set it as 1920, and then 1080 because there's some functions, or there are some bugs that we cannot edit, or we cannot put a specific Java swing because I think it's not operational. I think there's a problem on it. Okay, so that's it. So for this one, okay, so for 100 onwards line, number line, my co-members or colleagues will tackle it next to me. Okay, so that's it for my end, and thank you for listening to what I am talking to you, what I am giving you, what I am explaining to you. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day, have a good day, have a blessed day for you all. Thank you. Bye bye.
Hi, greetings everyone. I'm Jen and I'm going to explain the multi-form comprehensive form. And the first one I'm going to explain is the create J menu bar for menu bar and the set the menu bar of frame. Creation of J menu bar for menu bar is explains that a menu bar component is being created. The set the menu bar of frame is indicates that the created menu bar is being set for the frame. The next one is to create chain menu for account and adding menu to menu bar. Create chain menu for account signifies the creation of a menu component entitled account, and the adding menu to menu bar describes the addition of the account menu to the menu bar. Let's move to create J menu item for logout and disposing multi-form comprehensive frame. Create J menu item for logout explains the creation of a menu item labeled logout, and disposing multi-form comprehensive frame indicates the action of disposing the current frame multi-form comprehensive upon logout. The next one is to create login entry frame after logout and to set visibility of login frame. Create login entry frame after logout describes the creation of a new login entry frame after logout, and set visibility of login frame sets the visibility of the login frame. Let's move to adding logout menu item to account menu, creating J separator to separate logout and exit, and adding separator to account menu. The adding logout menu item to account menu indicates the addition of the logout menu item to the account menu. And to create J separator to separate logout and exit describes the creation of a separator to visually separate menu items. And to adding separator to account menu, it indicates the addition of the separator to the account menu. Create J menu item for exit, completely exiting program, and add exit menu item to account menu. Create J menu item for exit describes the creation of a menu item labeled exit. Completely exiting program indicates the action of completely exiting the program upon selecting the exit menu item. The next one is use no layout manager for absolute positioning. Create label for transaction log. Set the text color to white. Set background color of label to light gray. Set font of label. Set position and size of transaction log label. Create a J scroll pane. Set position and size of scroll pane, and create a J table for transaction details. Use no layout manager for absolute positioning. Specifies the use of no layout manager for absolute positioning of components. Create label for transaction log describes the creation of a label titled transaction log. Set text color to white. It indicates the setting of text color to white for the label. To set background color of label to light gray, it specifies the setting of the background color of the label to light gray. Set font of label describes the setting of the font for the label. Set position and size of transaction log label indicates the positioning and sizing of the transaction log label. To create a J scroll pane, it describes the creation of a scroll pane component. To set position and size of scroll pane specifies the positioning and sizing of the scroll pane. And to create a J table for transaction details indicates the creation of a table component for displaying transaction details. Let's proceed to getting selected row index. It describes the action of getting the index of the selected row in the table. The next one is enabling cancel button, and it indicates the action of enabling the cancel button. Showing confirmation dialog describes the display of a confirmation. And if user confirms deletion, it specifies the action to take if the user confirms deletion. The next one is removing row from model, and it indicates the removal of the selected row from confirms deletion. Removing row from model indicates the removal of the selected row from the model. Updating has rows flag describes the update of the has rows flag. And disabling table indicates the action of disabling the table. Enabling register button describes the action of enabling the register. Disabling cancel button indicates the action of disabling the cancel button. Updating button state describes the update of the button state. And updating record counter indicates the update of the record counter. If user cancels deletion, specifies the action to take if the user cancels deletion. Clearing selection indicates the action of clearing selection in the table. If no row is selected, it describes the actions to take if no row is selected in the table. Enabling table indicates the action of enabling the table. Showing message dialog describes the display of a message dialog. Disabling register button indicates the action of disabling the register button. Disabling view log button describes the action of disabling the view log button. And disabling pay button indicates the action of displaying the pay button. Disabling table by default describes the action of disabling the table by default. Set Fields Viewport Height for the table specifies the setting to fill the viewport height for the table. Set Column Identifiers describe the setting of column identifiers for the table. Set Model for Table indicates the setting of the model for the table. Create JButton for Register describes the creation of a button labeled Registered. Set Background Color of Button to Yellow specifies the setting of the background color of the button to yellow. Set Font of Button describes the setting of the font for the button. Set Position and Size of Button indicates the positioning and sizing of the button. Create JButton for Label Delete describes the creation of a button labeled Delete. Set Background Color of Button to White specifies the setting of the background color of the button to white. The next one is disabling button by default. This comment indicates that the button is being disabled when the component is loaded or initialized. Getting selected row index describes the action of retrieving the index of the row that the user has selected in a table or list. Enabling cancel button indicates that the cancel button is being enabled, presumably after a certain condition is met or an action is performed. Showing confirmation dialog describes the action of displaying dialog box to confirm an action with the user. Next one is if user confirms deletion, it specifies the actions to be taken if the user confirms the deletion of something, typically a record or item. Removing row from model indicates the action of removing a row from the data model, often associated with a table or list. Updating has rows flag describes the action of updating a Boolean flag named has rows, which likely indicates whether there are any rows represented in a table or list. Disabling table indicates the action of disabling the entire table component, likely making it non-interactive or visible. Enabling register button describes the action of enabling the register button, allowing users to click on it to register or submit information. Disabling cancel button indicates the action of disabling the cancel button, typically used to cancel or abort an action or progress. Updating button state describes the action of changing the state or enable or disable of a button, usually based on certain conditions or users' interaction. Next one is updating record counter. Indicates the action of updating a counter that keeps track of the runner of records or item currently present. If user cancels deletion, specifies the actions to be taken if the user cancels or aborts the deletion process. Clearing selection indicates the action of deselecting or clearing the current selection in a table or list. If no row is selected, describes the actions to be taken if there is no row selected in a table or list. Enabling table indicates the action of enabling the table component, making it interactive or visible. Next one is showing message dialog. It describes the action of displaying a dialog box to show a message or notification to the user. Disabling register button indicates the action of disabling the register button. It prevents users from clicking on it to register or submit information. Disabling view log button describes the action of disabling the button used to view logs or history. And the next one is in disabling pay button. It indicates the action of disabling the button used for making payments, likely to prevent unintended transactions. Setting font of button. The steps involve specifying the font style, such as font family, size, or style, to be used for a button element in the user interface. Set position and size of button. This comment indicates defining the coordinates and dimensions for placing the buttons on the screen, determining its location and size relative to other UI elements. Create button for cancel. This step involves instantiating a button element with the label cancel, typically used to allow users to cancel or close a dialog or form. Set background color of button to red. Here, the background color of the cancel button is set to red, making it visually distinguishable for other elements or from other buttons. Disable cancel button by default. This disables the cancel button, initially preventing users from interacting with it until it explicitly enabled later. Updating has rows flags. This suggests that a Boolean variable named has rows is being updated to reflect whether there are any rows of data present in a table or another UI component. Clearing text area. This action involves clearing the contents of a text area, like used for user input or displaying text information. Clearing selection in table. Here, any selected rows or cells in a table UI component are cleared, removing any highlighting or selection indicators. Next one is disabling table. This disables the entire table, preventing users from interacting with its contents or selecting rows. Next one is enabling register button. This enables a button labeled register, allowing user to interact with it, perhaps to submit a form or trigger some action. Let's proceed to the next. Updating button state. This likely involves updating the state or properties of a button, such as its enabled or disabled status or appearance. The set text color of button to white. Here, the text color of a button is set to white, changing its appearance for better visibility or design consistency. The next one is the set font of button. This repeats step 1, possibly indicating further customization of the button's font settings. Next one is set position and sizes of a button. Similarly to step 2, this involves specifying the position and size of another button, likely for a different action or purpose. Next is to create button for pay. This instantiates a button element labeled pay, typically used for initiating a payment process or transaction. The next one is to set background color of button to white. The background color of the pay button is set to white, ensuring visual consistency with other UI elements or design guidelines. Next one is the disable pay button by default. Similar to step 5, this step disables the pay button, initially preventing users from initiating payments until enabled. Next is to getting selected row index. This involves retrieving the index or identifier of the currently selected row in a table or list, enabling further actions based on the selection. Enabling cancel button enables the cancel button, allowing users to interact with it, perhaps after a certain condition or action has been fulfilled. Next one is the checking if row is selected. These steps involve verifying whether a row in a table or list is currently selected, typically to determine whether further actions can be performed. Next one is to check if the payment status for the selected row is paid already. This involves verifying whether the payment status for the selected row is already marked as paid, possibly to prevent duplicate payments or trigger specific actions. The next one is to show an error message if it's already paid. If the payment status for the selected row is already marked as paid, an error message is displayed to notify the user and prevent further action. Next one is to clearing selection in the table. This step clears any selected rows or cells in a table UI component, similar to step 8. Next one is updating has rows flag. Similar to step 6, the has rows flag is updated to reflect the current presence of rows in the table of or UI component. Next is getting total fee from selected row. This involves retrieving the total fee associated with the selected row, likely for further processing or display. Next is creating instance of payment form. An instance of a payment form object or class is created, possibly to handle payment-related functionality or display payment information. Next is to set visibility of payment frame. This step involves controlling the visibility of a frame or container element used for displaying payment-related information or forms. Disabling table is similar to step 9. The entire table is disabled, preventing further interaction with its contents. Next is disabling cancel button. This step disables the cancel button possibly as part of a specific workflow or condition. Updating button state is likely involves updating the state or properties of buttons or other UI elements, ensuring consistency and responsiveness within the user interface. Let's proceed to showing message dialog. These lines display a message dialog with the message "Please select a row to pay." The dialog has a title "Select Row" and an information message icon. The next one is disabling register button, and disables the register button, meaning it cannot be clicked or interacted with. Next one is disabling view log button. It disables the view log button, similarly preventing interaction. The next one is disabling delete button, and it disables the delete button, again preventing interaction. Next one is setting font of button. This sets the font of the BTN Pay button to Tahoma with bold style and size 20. Set position and size of a button sets the position and size of the BTN Pay button within its container. Its position and coordinates 960 and 706 with a width of 122 pixels and a height of 26 pixels. Next one is sets the bound of the content pane to fill the entire frame. This ensures that the content pane takes up the entire space within its container. The next one is the loads an image named black background.png with the application's resources and creates an image icon object named design image to hold it. Next one is create a label with the initial text record counter 0 to display the record counter. The next one is to set the text color of label. This sets the text color of the label record counter label to white. Next one is set the font of label. This sets the font of the label record counter label to Tahoma with bold style and size 20. The next one is set the position and size of the label. This sets the position and size of the LBL record counter label within its container. Holding the image creates a label to hold the button design image. Set the image in label sets the image in the LBL design image bottom label using the design image icon. Set the background color of label, setting the background color of the LBL design image bottom label to black. Set the position and size of the label, sets the position and size of the LBL design image bottom label within its container. Hold the image creates a label to hold the top design image. Sets the image in label, sets the image in the LBL design image top label using the design image icon. Next one is setting the background color of label. Sets the background color of the LBL design image top label to black. Next is the setting the position and size of the label. Sets the position and size of the LBL design image top label within its container. The next one is to hold the image, and it creates a label to hold the thin design image on the right side. Next is to set the image in label. Sets the image in the LBL design image thin label using the design image icon. Next one is to set the background color of label. Sets the background color of the LBL design image thin label to black. Next is to hold the image, and it creates a label to hold the thin design image on the left side. The next one is to set the image in label and sets the image in the LBL design image thin 1 label using the design image icon. The next one is to set the background color of label. This sets the background color of the LBL design image thin 1 label to black. The next one is set the position and size of the label. This sets the position and size of the LBL design image DIN1 label within its container.
So, dangal greetings everyone. My name is BJ El Basilonia, and now I will explain to you this line of code of BSBA, BSCS, BSED, and BSIT sections. So first, I will explain to you the defining a class name BSBA section which extends the A-frame. So, the main panel that contains all other components. Set A column and set B column. R is defining the column names for the table of section A and section B. So, BSBA section A and BSBA table model. This table model for managing the data displayed in the tables. Next, table BSBA section A and table BSBA section B. So BSBA section A table model and BSBA section B table model. This table model for managing the data displayed in the table. Next, table BSBA section A and table BSBA section B. This one, JTable components to display the data for section A and section B. Next is cancel. BTN cancel 1 and BTN cancel. This button is to cancel the selection of the rows in the tables. So, that explanation is also same as in BSCS, this line of code, BSED, and BSIT section. So, next one is this constructor for BSBA section class. This one is initialize the main panel content pane with a border and a new layout, which means absolute positioning of components. Also same as in BSCS, BSED, and BSIT. Next is creating a tab pane. A tab pane is created to manage multiple tabs, section A and section B. This tab pane is added to the content pane. Also same as in BSCS, BSED, and BSIT. Next is creating a panel for section A. A panel section is created for section A and added as a tab to the table pans. It's also same in BSCS, BSED, and BSIT. So, next is adding a scroll pane for section A table. A scroll pane is created and added to the panel. The table BSBA section A is initialized with the model BSBA section A table model and added to the scroll pane. The table is non-editable, initially disabled, and allows single selection. That is also same as in BSCS, BSED, and BSIT. This is adding delete button for section A. BTN deletes all the selected row from the table after confirming the user. If no row is selected, it prompts the user to select the row and enables the table. BTN cancel clears any selection and disables both the table and the cancel button. Also same in BSCS, BSED, and BSIT sections. Next is creating panel for section B. Similar setup to section A. Creating a panel for section B and adding it to the tab pane. Next, this line of code, adding a scroll pane for section B table. Similar setup to section A for the scroll pane in the table. Next is adding delete button for section B. Again, similar setup to section A for the delete and cancel button, performing the same actions. For the last one, JLabel LBL Business Administration. This code adds a label to the main content pane for the title Business Administration.
Greetings, Sir Janus. My name is Ian Lemur Alvarez and I'm gonna present the login entry program. So, this program aims to provide user with a graphical interface, the graphical interface to log in using username and password. The import statement, the program starts with importing necessary Swing packages for GUI component and event handling. Sa class declaration naman po is the login entry class extend JFrame indicating it represent a window. And then sa instance variable sa content pane, the panel that holds all GUI component and TXT user, a text field for entering the username and TXT password for entering a password field for entering password. And then the window setup configures the window properties like size, position, and close operation. Tapos sa content pane setup naman niya is initializes content pane and set na layout sa null para sa absolute na positioning. And then yung si GUI naman nag-create ng label for username and password, and then nag-create ng text field for entering username and password, and then login for create login and cancel button, and then load background and logo image as label. Login button sa mga button actions, login button or BTN login. Check if the entered username and password are admin. If correct, display a success message and open a new main window, which is yung multi-form comprehensive na pagka naman mali lalabas ang error message, which is itong invalid login credentials. And then cancel button naman is closes the login window. So this program utilizes Swing components to create a user-friendly login interface. It employs event handling to respond the user action like button clicks. The main functionality is checking login credentials and providing appropriate feedback. So this Java program demonstrates how to create a basic login interface using Swing components. And that's all. Thank you.
The registration form constructor initializes the JFrame with basic properties such as closing behavior or dispose on close, size, and layout properties. It sets up a JPanel as the content pane with a border and null layout. The JLabel or label registration form 1 is created to display the registrar with specific font and color settings. So, buttons like BTN Register, BTN Clear, and BTN Calculate are created and customized with color, fonts, and action listener. The BTN Register action listener collects and validates input from various text, fields, and checkboxes, ensuring all fields are filled, age is within a range, email format is correct, and at least one course and service are selected. If validation passes, it confirms the registration, calculates the total of cost, select courses and services, and updates a table model in other classes, multiple comprehensive with the with our registration details. Checkboxes for various courses and services are created with action listeners to enable or disable buttons based on user selection. Text fields collect user information. The BTN Clear Action Listener clears all input fields and resets the form. The BTN Calculate Action Listener calculates and displays the total cost based on selected options. The BTN View button shows a message dialog with the prices of courses and services. The form also includes JRadio button for selecting gender, with a button group to ensure only one can be selected at a time. The form layout and components placements are managed using specific bounds to position each element within the frame. Overall, this code provides a detailed and interactive registration form with a validation, user feedback, and integration with other parts of application for managing registration details.
I am Mary Claire Alatencio and I will be discussing the continuation of registration form. So first, the code sets up a Java Swing application for a student registration form. It begins by initializing a checkbox for transportation services or checkbox transportation and setting its font and position. Next, a checkbox for hostel accommodation or checkbox hostel is created, which enables or disables the meal plan checkbox or checkbox meal based on its selection state. This checkbox also updates the button state whenever it is interacted with. The meal plan checkbox or checkbox meal is defined next, initially disabled and configured to call button state on action. A library access checkbox or checkbox library follows similarly wired to the button state method. Then a non-checkbox or checkbox none is added, which disable all other service checkboxes and deselects them if selected, and enables them, except the meal plan checkbox if deselected. Labels for course, service, last name, first name, middle name, age, ID number, sex, and email are added to the form with specified fonts and positions. Corresponding text fields for last name, first name, middle name, age, and email are also included, each with action listeners that updates the button state. A counter for ID numbers is displayed using label ID number counter. For sex selection, two radio buttons or radio button male and radio button female are added and grouped so only one can be selected at a time. The form's design is completed with an image label for background or label register image design and a main title labeled label registration form 2. Finally, the calculate total cost method calculates the total cost of selected courses and services. It defines prices for each course and service, initializes total cost to 0, and adds the price of each selected course and service to total cost. The specific courses included Math 101, Sci 100, Read 100, CCS 101, and CCS 102, while the services include library access, meal plan, hostel accommodation, and
My
transportation.
name is General Salvesunshan and now I'm gonna explain in how the checkbox for selecting transportation service works in our registration form. So first we create a checkbox for transportation service and adds on an action listener to trigger the button state when the checkbox is selected or deselected, and and set the fonts in the position of the checkbox and add the checkbox to the content pane. And next is so this block of code we create a checkbox for hotel accommodation, adds an action listener to enable to disable the meal, plan checkbox and based on the hotel checkbox selection. And for sets in the font and position of the checkbox, it will add the checkbox to the content pane. So next is we have this checkbox for selecting meal selecting meal plan only enable if hostel mediation is selected. So we create another checkbox for the meal plan and adds an action listener to trigger the button state when the checkbox is selected or by deselected again, and initially disables the checkbox. And we also set the font's position of the checkbox of Tahoma font bold 10. And and we also add the checkbox to the content pane. Next is, in this block of code, we create another checkbox for selecting the none option. Good evening, sir. So the continuation of for our label displaying course. So we create a label and text field for user informations and add action listener to it to the text field to call the button state when the text is changed. Set in the font color and the position of label and text to fields and add them to the content pane. And it had a similar pattern for label age, text, middle name, ID number, sex, email, or regular or irregular status, and so on and so on. And next is we have a bottom group sex for for radio buttons for sex and status selections, and ensure only one radio button can be selected at a time within each group. And we also use image icon. We also use image icon to hold and display a background images for the registration form and set the position of the size of the label and adds a label to content pane. And we also set a relative relegated to null to center the screen. And we use a method to calculate a based on selected courses and services, and the method to update the button state based on form completeness, and an additional method for updating ID counter, validating email, handling forms, status, and clearing fields. And to provide utility methods for calculating cost, updating button states, validating email, formats managing, and ID counters, and handling form inputs.
Good day everyone. So I'm going to discuss about the payment form. So the provided Java code is constitute a swing-based graphical user interface or GUI application designed to manage student data within two distinct sections denoted as Section A and Section B of a psychology, education, and nursing class. The application is encapsulated with a JFrame subclass named BSI section. The GUI layout is organized using a JTab pane, facilitating navigation between the two sections. Each section panel features a JTable component configured to display a student information, such as ID, last name, first name, and middle name, utilizing default table model instances to handle data representation. The interface includes delete button to buttons associated with each table, enabling user to remove selected rows, alongside cancel buttons to interrupt ongoing operations such as row deletion. Additionally, JLabels are employed to provide contextual information within the interface. Despite utilizing an absolute layout for component positioning, which is generally discouraged for complex GUIs due to potential layout issue, the code offers a functional framework for efficiently managing student data within the context of a psychology, education, and nursing class.
So the begins now. I will explain to you the method for the payment frame. So first, we will use a method to confirm the payment. We use public void confirm payment, and then string payment input is equal to text payment amount dot get text. In this line,
we will get the payment amount. And then after that, we will use the if condition to check if the payment input is empty. And if the payment input is empty, a display error message dialog will appear, and it contains please enter payment amount and valid input. And then a return from the method will be used. So after that, we will check if the payment amount is a valid number. Because Boolean is valid payment is equals to true. It is applied to check if the payment amount is valid. And then Boolean decimal point found is equals to false. It is applied to track if a decimal point is found. After that, we will use a for loop. It is used to iterate over each character in payment input. For each character in payment input, we use char index payment input dot to char array. And then we use if statement, which checks if character is not a digit or a decimal point. And below that, we can see is valid payment is equals to false. It uses the flag and it is set to false. And then break, which exit the loop if an invalid character is found. And then up next to that is checking if a decimal point is found. If index is equals to, and then the period or decimal point, if a decimal point is found, the flag will be set to false. And then you can see the command is valid payment is equals to false. After that, we will see another break which exit the loop if a second decimal point is found. And then decimal point found is equals to true. It marks the decimal point as found. And then below that, you can see if payment input is not a valid number, it will show an error message. And you can see that not is valid payment is the command we use if a payment input is not a valid number, and invalid payment amount, invalid input would be the error message that will be shown if it's not a number. And then below that, we can see a return from method. Okay, next, we will see a convert payment amount to double. Payment amount is equals to double that parse double. Inclusion with the payment input, which convert payment input to double. So at this part, we will also check if payment amount is less than total fee. We will use another if statement. Payment amount is less than the multi-form comprehensive, which is the mainframe. The total fee. This line checks if payment amount is less than the total fee. And if so, it will show a message dialog which saying payment amount must be greater than or equal to total cost. Invalid payment. And then another return from method below. So below that, we have here a in selected row, which get the selected row from the transaction details table. At this line, we will get the selected row from the transaction details table, and then below that, we will check if a valid row is selected. And another if statement will be used for checking selected row not equal to -1, and selected row will be less than multi-form comprehensive model get row count if a valid row is selected. And then change amount is equals to payment amount minus multi-form comprehensive total fee, which calculate the change amount. And below that will be the display for the change amount, and below that line will be the payment status in the table. Next is the add payment amount in the table, and also the next line would be the add payment amount in the table. Below that will be a message, another message dialog, display the receipt. And then below will be the clear selection in the table, and then hide the payment form from the window with the command set visible to false. So for the method to generate a receipt, we will use private string generate receipt, and then with the inclusion of in selected row, string receipt would be equals to empty string for the receipt, and then receipt plus equals to ID number plus the main frame dot model dot get value add selected row, and then the number at the table. At this line, we will add ID number to the receipt, and then for the succeeding line, we will just get the necessary information which help to generate a receipt and then display it for the user to see. Next step that I will tackle is the sections frame, in which we will use a public class section extends frame, which is the class for the sections window, and then private static final launch serial version UID is equals to 1L, which is the serial version UID, and then the private panel content frame, which is the panel for the sections window. Below, we will see a public static final string, section A column, which defines a column for section A table, and then the contents will be last name, first name, middle name. This would be the columns for the section A table, and then the table model for section A would be a public static default table model. We'll say section A table model is equals to new default table model section A column and 0, which is the table model for section A, and then we will call the public static J table BSA section A table for section A. And then below that, we will also use the almost the same command but for section B. And skipping to that, we will see below the constructor for sections class, which is public sections constructor for the sections class. And then we will set the default close operation, dispose on close, and then the bounds of the window and creating a new panel. Below that, we will also see the set borders and also the content frame and setting the layout to default or null. So below that, we will also see the creation of the tab frame, also with its bounds and creating a new panel for the tab frame. Then below is the creation of a panel for section A, along with the setting of the layout and adding the tab. We're also adding a scroll frame for the section A table. And below will be the creation of a table for section A, with public boolean edit cell at intro in column, which is the method to disable editing in the table, and return false, return false to disable editing. So now we can see here a table BSA section A set enable to false, which is table editing in the table. And then a scroll frame, we set the viewport view of the scroll frame to the table. And then table BSA section A dot set selection mode, we set the selection mode of the table to single selection. Next step that we will add is adding the functionality to the date button in section A. We will set the bounds, adding the panel, and then add an action listener. So below we can see in selected row table BSA section A that get selected row, which get the selected row from the table. And then we'll use a if statement with selected row not equal to -1 if the selected row is selected. Then int response will show a confirm dialog which contains "Are you sure you want to delete the selected row?" And then it will show a confirmation dialog. And if the user confirms, it will remove the selected row from the table model, clear selection in section A table, and disable the cancel button in section A. Also disable editing in section A table. Else, if no row is selected, it will also show a message dialog which contains "Please select a row to delete" and information, which enable the cancel button in section A and enable editing in section A table. So we can see also here a button cancel _1, which is a cancel button, and also has a action listener. It also has a clear selection in section A table, and also button cancel cancel _1 would be set enable to false, which disabled it, and also the table would also be disabled. Now, creating a panel for section B, it is also the same as creating a panel for section A. And then adding a scroll pane, creating the table, just like the same process. And then setting the enabling to false, which disable it, and set the viewport, and set the selection mode. We will also use the delete button, just like from what we see at the section A table, and also has an action listener with the same confirm dialog and the same process if the response would be yes, and same process if no row would be selected. And then you can also see another cancel button here, and then below lastly is the J label, ABL accountancy, which also set the horizontal alignment to the right, and then setting fonts and setting bounds and adding its content pane. Also had action listener, and also clear the selection in section B, setting the button cancel to false, which disable it, and also the table for section B, and setting the location relative to null for the window or frame to be set at the middle of the screen. So that's it for my presentation. Moving on for the next topic. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. Let me discuss to you the summary of our project. Let's start with the loading screen frame. These are the most important packages that need to be imported. And let's go to the declaration. These are the declaration that we use, such as content pane and progress bar. We declare the progress bar static because to show it to the main frame. And let's go to the components of the frame. We set it undecorated to remove the window of decoration, like the X in the window. We also use the label JLabel loading text that display loading. And now the progress bar. We use the progress bar to show the progress and colored it yellow. And for creating the image, we use the loading image icon, name loading icon, and display it to the loading image label. And it is located at the center of the screen. Now, let's continue. After the loading progress is done, it will show the login entry frame. And these are the necessary packages that need to be imported. And the class declaration that we use are content pane, text username, and text password. And let's go to the components of the frame. We set it on close operation, dispose on close, and we use JLabel username, also use JLabel password, and text username for the text field and text password for the JPassword field. We also use login button that if the button meets the requirement such as correct username, which is admin, and correct password, which is admin also, the login frame will dispose and show the main frame. And if it's wrong, it will show message invalid login credential, and reset the text username, text password, and also focus it to the text username. We also use JButton cancel if you choose cancel button, it will automatically dispose or close. We also use image icon for the design of the frame, and we use JLabel login design to display the image that we use. Also same as this, and it is located at the center of the screen. Now let's continue to the multi-form comprehensive frame. These are the important package that needs to be imported. At ito naman yung mga ginamit naming declaration para mapagana yung project, ay yung multi-comprehensive frame, such as button register, button cancel, button pay, button delete, and so on. Also the total fee of the courses, and also the ID number counter, JLabel, and the menu item login frame. We initialize first the login screen, and once it reach 100, it will display na sa once it will reach 100 to, it will display the multi-form comprehensive frame. And these are the components of multi-form comprehensive frame, such as menu bar, menu account, menu, and inside menu account we have logout, also separator, and last one is exit for the menu. And for the second menu for our section, we have menu for CBA and other courses. Like that. And in those colleges we have this program, such as BSc ED major in Filipino and English, and also jazz, SEAS, and program sci. We also use label transaction log component of scroll pane, and the table. and create a model for the table with ID, last name, first name, etc. And these are the button for register. Once you choose it, it will display the registration frame and button for delete. And once you select a row from the table, it will delete. Text area for displaying the details of the selected row in the table. And we use view log button for that. We also have cancel button. Once you click another button, you can cancel it. And we also have pay button. Once you selected a row, you can pay. And if the selected row is already paid, it will return because it pays na. And the label for counter, which increase. And the design for the login frame, and it is located at the center of the screen. And the method that we use is display log. This display the log in the text area, and update button state. If it has rows, it will not show. If it doesn't have a row, it will not be enabled. It will be disabled. And for the record counter, it will get the total row count of the table. Now let's continue to the registration form frame. These are the necessary packages that needs to be imported. At ito naman yung mga ginamit naming class declaration, such as JPanel, button for the register, clear, calculate, checks boxes for course, for the services, text field for the name, age, and radio button for male, female, and status for regular and irregular. Now, punta naman tayo sa mga components nila. This create the program label. Combo box for the program, and combo box for the college. And these are the items for colleges, SEA, CBI, etc. Label for registration form. And we call the log out menu item because once you log out from the menu frame without exiting registration form, it will automatically dispose this registration form. And button register. Once you click button register, initialize and retrieve the input data such as last name, first name, middle name, sex. And these are the way for checking male, if it's male, or female, regular. Check the last name text field if it's empty, etc. And initialize the age for checking the age of the user, if it's valid or not. And also for email checkboxes. And this, and we use string selected course to hold item that checkbox has text. It gets the text from the checkbox, also from the services. And once you're done, it will show a message, the message, and if you say yes, it will create a string items that has ID number, last name, etc., and also calculate the total cost from the selected checkbox and checkbox courses and services, and also update the table from multi-form comprehensive. And this is also update the table from the sections such as program, section BSA, irregular and irregular, and etc. BSCS, program for BSCS, IT, nursing, Eduk, and so on and so forth. And once you are done, it will show a message dialog which contain the selected items that you get, and yes, and increase the ID counter. From the multi-form comprehensive, the record count will also increase. And this button for clear, if you select it, it will clear all the fields from the registration form and calculate all the selected checkbox, course, and services. And this is a way to view the prices for the selected course and services. And now these are the checkbox component for the service such as meal, library, and none. Once the none is selected, it will disable the others checkboxes. And the checkboxes for course 1, course 2, course 3, right, correct, and last course 5. And the components for the name, age, ID number, for the sex, and for the email, and also for the components of the radio button such as mail, status, regular, irregular, and we use button group to group the radio buttons together. And these are the way for in holding the image for the design, and it is located at the center of the screen. Now, this is the method to calculate the selected courses and services, and it return the total cost to the register button. And the button state, if none of this is selected or empty, the register button is disabled, and this set text the ID number, which increase once you click the register button. And and a way to and a method to check if any checkbox is selected. It will not enable the register button. And a method to clear fields, clear all the user input and disable some button. A method to check if email is right, if the user is regular or not regular, and a method if the combo box college converted to selected college. If you select a certain college, it will show a program from that certain college. And also for a method for like the course college program. If you click a certain program, it will show the course of the selected program, such for example the BSIT. These are the sub courses that will be displayed in the checkbox: nursing, edu, and if none is selected, it will return null. Now, let's proceed to the payment form frame. These are the necessary packages that needs to be imported. At ito naman yung mga class declaration na ginamit namin, such as text payment amount, for button confirm and cancel payment, and change amount, and declaring payment amount and change amount, and ID number, counter, and the design. And these are the components of the public form frame. You also initialize. We also need this because once you click the logout button and it's not yet closed, it will automatically close the payment form. Label for total cost, label for amount, label for the payment, and the text field for payment amount, for the label for the change amount, and button for the confirm. Once you select confirm, it will do a method. It will call a method. And also for the button cancel, it will exit the frame. Label for ID counter, label for ID number counter, and the image icon. And for the image icon, it holds the image by JLabel. And these are the method for confirm payment. This string payment input, get the text from the text payment amount. To check if it's not empty, that if payment input is empty, it will return. Declare a boolean variable to check if the payment input has an character. This check if it's valid payment. Now this check the value. If it's all correct, it will convert it to double. And this check the payment amount. If it's less than, it will return. And it get the selected row from the multi-form comprehensive table. And once you are done, it will generate a receipt that has the ID, last name, age, email status, college and program service, total fee, and the payment amount and change amount. And the last one to discuss is the sections. Sections will only display kung mag-select ka sa menu section in multi-form comprehensive frame ng isang menu item. For example, pumili ka ng BSA. In BSA section, we declare a string set, final string, section A column. Yung section A is for the regular and the section B is for the irregular. Also declare a model, table, and button, and these are the components for the section. Tab pane, we use tab pane for the section A and the section B panel. And each section has their own table and also has their own delete button and cancel button. Delete button. Once you select delete button, it will enable the table, which you can select a row to delete, and you can cancel it by clicking the cancel button. And also the same happen in BSA section B. Once you delete, the table will enable and you can select a row and you can cancel it also. It also a label accountancy and located at the center of the screen. You also have a section for BSBA. If you select BSBA in the menu item, it also has a section A column and section B column like BSA accountancy. And also use tab pane and panel for A and B. We also use delete button and cancel button. And also in section B, we also use delete button and cancel button. In BSCS section, Also the same thing, final string is set as we declare a final string section A and section B. Also the section A for table model and section B for table model. And also use tab pane for panel section A and section B. Also as a delete button and cancel button. And has their own table for the section, like A and B. Delete button for section B and cancel button for section B. In section BSEED, it's also the same thing, where you declare a final string for section A and section B column that has their own table model for section A and section B. And also use tab pane, panel for section A and section B, a table for section A and section B, and delete button for section A and section B. It also happens in BSIT section, where you declare again a final string for section A and section B, default model for section A and section B, table for section A and section B. Also use tab pane for panel section A and section B, and delete button and cancel button for section A and section B. Yeah, like that. Here. It also happens in BS Nursing, where you declare a panel string section A and section B. Also default model for section A and section B, and table for section A and section B. You also use tab pane for panel section A and section B, and delete and cancel button for section A and section B. Here, yeah, like that. And here's the panel. The delete button, cancel button. Also happens for psychology, which you declare a panel string for section A and section B, default model for section A and section B, table for section A and section B, and we also use tab pane for section A and section B. We also use scroll pane in all of the section for the table, so it can be scroll up. Also use button for section A and button for section B. For major in Filipino, I major in English, you also declare a final string for section A and section B, a default table model for section A and section B, and also table model for section A and section B. Also use the tab pane and put panel section A and section B. You also use the delete button and cancel button for section A and section B. Yes. And last one is for the major in education. You declare again is section A and section B column, and also default table model for section A and section B, table for section A, section B. Also use the tab pane for panel A, panel section A and section B. And it also has the delete button and cancel button for section A, and delete button again and cancel button again for section B. And all of them has a label which display their program. Like this. Yeah. Major in English, psychology, nursing, information technology. Like that. Thank you for listening.